Divorce isn't a pleasant experience, full stop. It's the ending of something. And unless you both came to that decision, there's always going to be one person that has to come to terms with it. They have to catch up emotionally with the decision that's been made. When something ends and one person isn't expecting it, they might feel out of their comfort zone, trying to make sense of what is actually happening. But when that person's been in an abusive relationship, it isn't about getting to the same point as your partner. That doesn't exist, because you may have started to discover the relationship that you thought you were in doesn't exist. The person you thought you were married to doesn't exist either. The other difference will be closure. An emotionally healthy partner will offer information, trying to help their ex-partner in whatever way they can to accept that the relationship is no longer working. Closure in an emotionally abusive relationship is rare, as it serves no purpose in causing harm or maintaining control or power. In this video, I want to help you understand what are the most important steps as you prepare yourself for divorce, and as they set the stage for the next scene in this drama. I want you to understand that you know more than you think you know, and why that is so important. I want you to understand where you are in your healing process and what those next steps are. I want to help you understand how to get to where you want to be, and what you can do as you see glimpses of the person you remember them to be at the beginning of the relationship. Hello, my name's Elizabeth Goddard, and welcome to the Divorce Sanctuary. I'm author of Finding Lily and the A to Z of emotional abuse, and on this channel I'll talk about healing from emotional abuse and divorcing both physically and emotionally from the abuser. And divorcing emotionally is so important for your healing. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you're returning, welcome back and thank you. Understanding the process is helpful, but understanding where you are on the journey and what to expect is crucial. The divorce process is the perfect arena for the abuser to get more supply. As they draft in their legal representation, they get to play the victim to a new audience. They have a fresh set of eyes on them as they dust off this character and they prepare to play the role. They've perfected their story, and they use all the information that they collected at the beginning of the relationship during the idealization stage. But the supply doesn't just come from the process itself, it will also come from you. In fact, they're relying on it. So every letter, email, any form of contact will be perfectly crafted for a reaction. This then allows them to say to people that are around them, look, this is what I had to put up with. And they can then play the victim. So those letters and emails are designed to drive you crazy. During the process, you might see glimpses of the person that you remember, the person you fell in love with, the person you thought was protecting you, the one that told you how perfect you were together, the one who told you you were soulmates, the one who told you that you were the only person who'd ever understood them, and then they walked away leaving you broken. I lost count of the times I said, he'd never do that to me. I was surrounded by people trying to help me and offer advice. They didn't know him in the way I did. And then when I came out of the nightmare, I realised how wrong I was. As soon as you get the opportunity, please take it. Take the time to divorce emotionally from them. And I'll put a link in the description box below about that. It is important to keep reminding yourself that this relationship wasn't the kind and caring one that you thought it was. It wasn't even sane. And I talk a lot about healing and breaking the trauma bond. And one of the threads is the bond. One of the tendrils is remembering the role they played at the beginning. That mask. The mask they put on and the character they created. Remind yourself during the idealization stage, they listened and they created a persona that they would later on play that role. They even believed this was part of who they were, but it was based on the information that you gave them. You might find that there are moments during the divorce process where you slip back to remembering who you thought they were, not who they really are. And this will be purposeful, as they declare that you can sort this out yourselves, that you won't need legal representation, that they will make sure that you're okay, or that they look after you financially. They will tell you the process is costly and all the solicitor or lawyer wants is your money. They will tell you that they don't want to fight. They will play that character again. And they're so believing, but it is an act. They are actors. Why are you where you are now? Perhaps you don't know or fully understand who they are. You might have so many questions, and part of breaking the bond is divorcing emotionally. And one quick way to snap you out that thought process is to quickly ground yourself before you get trapped in an emotional spiral and sucked into a vortex of grief and emotion. You need to grieve. You need to grieve who you believe they were. You need to grieve the relationship, grieve the death of part of you, and you need to grieve for the fake future, which you might still be trapped in, or you might still be trying to recreate on your own, or your own version of the one that you created together. And I will put links below of ways to ground and some breathing exercises. Healing the wounds is a really important way of divorcing emotionally, so you feel nothing towards them. When they play their silly games, it does nothing. You are no longer triggered in any way. Another thing you can do is remind yourself of their immature character, of their sense of entitlement, which will pop up during the negotiations. Remind yourself of your worth. Remind yourself that the negotiation has already taken place and they made the decision of what you are entitled to and what you are now worth to them, versus what they can get away with. If it's you that's in the worst financial position, if you're in a better one, that entitlement will be negotiating a better deal in their favour. Remind yourself of the games, which will include triggering you for a reaction. Remind yourself of walking on eggshells that took place. If you're fortunate enough to experience any form of peace or tranquility from not being with them, remind yourself of that. They may have played games like triangulation, triangulating you with other people to create jealousy or a need. Remind yourself of the ways your life is better without them. If your trauma bond tugs or hurts in any way, understand where it is coming from. Keep reminding yourself of that immature child that was running this relationship. That child hasn't suddenly grown up, leaving you to feel even more insecure than you already did. This is another role they are playing. It will be gone as soon as the divorce is over. And yes, some of that character is to drive you crazy. Remind yourself to breathe and to ground if you're being drawn back into the emotions. They will present their damaged child, and you may want to rush forward and help them. And this will include during the negotiation process. Remind yourself nothing about this process is fair, and that they will be playing games with you and anyone else. They will play the victim. Remind yourself you need to heal your wounds. Remind yourself how important this is to help you divorce them emotionally. And from here, you'll feel nothing towards them. Remember to protect yourself as much as you can. You might experience emotions that are totally foreign to you. You might be angry and behave totally out of character. You might have done this during the relationship. Remember, they've manipulated you from the moment you met. They've been collecting information on you. They know what to say and what to do to get a reaction from you. Remember, they will use this information that they've collected on manipulating you during the process, Remember, they will have set the scene for their friends and family, and even your friends and family. You will have been assigned a character that is evil. Remember, their manipulation tactics are designed to make you react, which then brings out the part of you that proves that they're right. They love playing games, they love creating drama, which they later claim they hate, and they love playing the victim. Keep your focus on you and what you want from this divorce. Stay in your body and do not allow them to trigger you or your emotions. Whatever the reason or the reaction they're hoping for, it's done to prove how much power they have over you. They want to see you in pain. They want to manipulate you. This is purely for their satisfaction. The louder, angrier, messier reaction, the better. And above all, remember, if you do react, this wasn't your fault. Stop judging yourself and work on healing the wounds. Sit down and create boundaries. They won't like it, and they will do everything or anything possible to knock them down. They don't want you to get legal support because they will lose control of manipulating you. They will make false claims about you. And you might find yourself having to justify your behaviour. Stop justifying. Have your default statement to be something along the lines of, I can't discuss this with you. Please go through my legal team. They may tell you that you don't need a solicitor or a lawyer. What they mean is they don't want you to get one. It benefits them more if you don't have one. They might suggest it's because they're a waste of money or a money pit, or that they're only after your money. Take everything they say and change it from they, as in your legal team, to I. The abuser does not want you to go down that route. They lose control. Other boundary settings you can make are go no contact or grey rock. Get everything in writing. No phone calls, no text messages. All communication is done via email. Create a new email address purely for the divorce process. And use your mirror and try various terms that work for you, that roll off your tongue. Contact needs to be between our legal teams. Anything said to you about the divorce is closed down. I can't discuss this. No debate, just no. Keep reminding yourself of who they are, not the role they played. Keep reminding yourself of the messes that you were constantly clearing up for them. Keep reminding yourself of the drama they caused wherever they went. Keep reminding yourself of the demands that they made on you and others. Keep reminding yourself of the life you led and the lies you told for them to cover their back. Keep reminding yourself of how you pretended everything was okay when every day you were dying inside. Keep reminding yourself of how you justified their behaviour and made excuses for them. If you're able to write out your story and see the patterns, it's particularly good for empaths. Empaths see patterns, and they should be able to see the patterns in the relationship. This will help you when they try to draw you back in. You can start to see the patterns of how you believed their lives before. Your story will help to remind you of the boundaries they crushed that were yours and other people's. And your story will help you to remind you of how you did see it. You saw the red flags, but you bought into their victim story. Your story will help to remind you of how you lost yourself in them and the relationship, and how you probably gave up a lot of your dreams and your goals to satisfy them and theirs. Your story will help remind you that this was about power and control. And now is the time to claim that power back and take back the control of your life. Each time you slip down that slide of feeling sorry for them or their damaged inner child, remind yourself of the pattern and how they used it to manipulate you and others and situations for their own benefit. Create a date in your diary and have a date with yourself at least once a week. It could be a walk in nature or a trip to a coffee shop, a trip to a museum or an art gallery, a trip to the cinema or shoe shopping. Whatever you decide you feel comfortable with, or is within your budget. You could treat yourself to a long soak in the bath or breakfast in bed. As you befriend yourself, it will make it easier for you to check in with yourself when something or someone hurts you, or you get a reaction to something that's been said or is happening. As you befriend yourself, it will make it easier for you to understand the need to break the trauma bond. As you befriend yourself, it will make it much easier to keep feeling within your body. As you befriend yourself, it will make it easier to get out of your mind, which was programmed to trick you into not listening to your gut. It was tricked to turn off and to tune into others or turn to them for approval, or do what they want to do or what they wanted you to do for them. As you befriend yourself, it will make it easier for you to ask yourself why you are trying to contact them or stay in contact with them. As you befriend yourself, it will make it easier to recognize the feelings of hurt or why you're reacting to anything that is being said. And as you befriend yourself, it will make it easier to turn inwards and ask, what is hurting? Love shouldn't hurt. Love shouldn't be conditional. Emotionally healthy people divorce. Emotionally healthy people make sure the process is fair. Emotionally unhealthy people don't. For your sanity, start your healing, divorce emotionally, and then walk away. Create a list, get practical. Understand the process and what comes next. Understand what you would like your future to look like. Who's divorcing who? My observation is that if you're instigating the divorce, they hold back, they'll sit on paperwork, they don't respond to anything. However, if they start the proceedings, they might see you as broken and weak and in a position that they can manipulate you and push everything through quickly before you've had a chance to see what they're doing. And you wake up one day discovering it's all over and too late. Do you know everything you need to know about timescales and how the process works? Have you sat down and thought how this is going to work? Do you have a list of negotiable and non-negotiable items? Do you know what's important to you? Do you, more importantly, know what's important to the emotional abuser? I'll put the link to my workbook, Turn Broken into Your Superpower, in the description below. There's a form that you can use that will help you think about your negotiation tools, what you've got to negotiate with. How are you feeling about the process? Be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with you, who can you be honest with? Do you have a mixture of emotions? You might feel relief, anger, hate, love, fear. Acknowledge them all. You might be scared. You might feel overwhelmed. You might feel confused. And take some time to understand the process, what forms need to be completed. And you might have handed this over to someone else, like a legal team. But you still need to know how this process works. And you need to make sure that they are working for you. Remember, you were a project to the abuser. They know how to trigger you. They did when you were married. This process isn't going to stop them. They will do it from the safety of the legal team, who become their enablers. Remember, the loaded letter or email will be designed to trigger you, and then they will sit back with their popcorn and watch the fireworks. Even if they don't see your reaction, they get supply from imagining it. So the good news is understanding where you are emotionally will help you understand why you're reacting and will help you take control of your emotions. You can learn techniques that calm down the overwhelm, and using them regularly, you'll see how quickly you can calm your body down. By understanding the legal process, then when they throw an unrealistic request or accusation, you'll realise the games they're playing. Understanding your trauma bond will help you heal and create a plan. Understanding what you want will help your negotiations. Understanding who they are will help you negotiate. Trust your intuition. What is it telling you? Remember, each letter and email has the potential for information to be hidden inside it. And also remember, what you don't comment on will be taken as an agreement. I hope you found this useful. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to find different ways of working with me, I'll put the links below in the description box, along with the links to both my books, Finding Linny and the A to Z of Emotional Abuse. I'll put the links to my free group on Facebook called The Divorce Sanctuary, and also the links to my free resources, Self-Care is Vital and Turn Broken into Your Superpower. I've also got a meditation, I'll put the link to that, which is about grieving the past, the present and the future. And I'll put the other links, which were grounding and breathing techniques, and a video on emails are designed to trigger you and the information that it contains. Sending you loads and loads and loads of love.